Good morning. It's your humble servant Solace. I would like to do this video to the elders. The Dr. Phil Valentine's, Ben Carson's, all the elders. Now, I do want to commend all the elders on bringing forth information about the slave trade and basically just filling the people in on how black people did so much for the life that is not being credited to them. It is being credited to white people. So this is not a slandering any of them video. Slandering any of these people video or disrespecting them in any kind. I got respect for the elders and the things they do. Now, this doesn't mean that they're accurate in everything that they say, and just because I respect them, that I must stay silent and not address things that are wrong. Because this is important to our people. Now, I'm not that young of a man myself. I'm in my 30s. So a lot of the teachers are younger. It varies. But I just want to break down the misconceptions that is in the slave trade, because I was watching the Hidden Colors 3 video, and a lot of things they said was perceived wrong. It was perceived through the Africans. They never look at the perspective of the people that were here already. So we must understand this. You have to ask yourself, why would white people need to bring slaves, black people, Africans, why would they need to bring them here if there were already black people here to enslave? Ask yourself that. Why must I go through the trouble of bringing slaves if there are already people there? So this is your first clue to understand the difference in the people, the difference in the Africans and the black natives of the land. Now you can get an understanding. Okay, they brought them here because these people were different and they would not be enslaved. This is why they had to bring their slaves from Africa. The Africans were already enslaved. So it was nothing to them. This is why it was easy to bring them. And there wasn't that many revolts in all of this because they were already enslaved. You have to understand, the Americas were avoided. No people of any continent dealt with the Americas. See, every continent, the people all look the same. In Africa, all the people look the same. In India, all the people looked the same. The shade was not too different. But when you came to the Americas, you had a bunch of different black groups living on that continent, and they would fight each other. So you have to grasp that. It is just like the black people you see now. Africans now stick together. When you see them here in Americas, they stick together. When you see black people here in Americas, we fight one another. Because it was always like that with us. This is why we must understand, we are not from Africa. The white man said, go back to Africa. The white man told people this. And it was a smart thing to say, because you have to understand, when the white men got here, they knew the people were here already. So to look at them then and say, go back to Africa would be absurd. So what would make a white man say that after hundreds of years? See, after the mixing and mingling and people are confused, you can tell the people, go back here. Mind you, that is where the slavery truly is. So you force the people to where you started. We got the warehouse of slavery here. So we just send them there. If they ever think of leaving, well, plant the seed of going here in their mind. You have to understand, in the Americas, when we speak of Africa, we take away from our own history, which is the most important history of any continent, the Americas. You had giants on the lands. All of them. In every continent, the people chased the giants out of the land. The giants came to the Americas. The Native American black people distinguished the motherfuckers. So it has always been known through the civilizations out in history, don't fuck with them niggas in the Americas, they're fucking crazy. Anything that comes to that land, they are killing it. They live by killing. They kill each other. So people avoided the Native American land. The black people there were warriors. If you even came over there, they would hit you with arrows before you got here, you was hit with arrows. So no civilization came to Americas. This is why you don't never hear of America in history too much. Because it was avoided. It was always here. And the black people were always here. But nobody fucked with those people. They did their own thing. So we must grasp this. Now, once trade came into place and time passed on and trade, not slave trade, but just trade, then the natives of the land were more welcoming to other people. So this is how other people were able to come to the Americas and not get hit with arrows before they got here. So you must grasp this. Now, when the Africans was brought here with the white people, this is where the confusion got into place. So when you had people like Harriet Tubman running away, you have to ask yourself, when she ran away, where did she go and how did she stay free? You have to understand, the native black people of the land were never enslaved unless it was their choice. So they always lived free. And sometime when they was bored, they would ambush the white people. So it was never a matter of the white people were superior. The native black people of the land were always superior. They could give a motherfucker their freedom from the white people. Meaning if a slave ran away from the white person and found the natives of the land, the white person couldn't go take them back. They couldn't go take Harriet Tubman back. Harriet Tubman could come back and free other slaves and the white nigga couldn't do nothing about it. That's how deep it was. But the history is not being told that way. It's being told as if Harriet was sneaking in and all this weirdo goofy shit. The Negro spiritual songs and the Underground Railroad and all those hymns and things she used to sing to alert the slaves that the Underground Railroad was in town to free slaves, that wasn't like a secret thing. They used to come through broadcasting like, yo, we free. It was songs of disrespect to the slave master. Nigga, fuck you, nigga. We come through this bitch singing. Who wanna come to freedom? But niggas was so enslaved, they was scared to go. It's like now, motherfuckers is enslaved and they scared to be free. They don't even know what that is. So when they see them niggas walking through, they like, oh, them niggas is badass. Don't fuck with them niggas. Stay away from them niggas. This is the slave's mind. Dumb motherfuckers is more badass than the slave master. I'm not going with them. Mind you, the natives of this land was always known for killing one another. So why the fuck would the slave go with these niggas? They don't understand. But a lot of slaves ran away and they found refuge with the native blacks of the land. So we have to understand who we descend from. It is truly a deep thing. You had different black groups all over the Americas. And you had the white. Put it like this. In life, in all of the world, you have different races of black people. Indians, they are not Africans. They're black though. Arabs, they're not Africans. They're black though. You have the natives of this land, a whole bunch of different black people, but they were not Africans though. Now all of these people probably descended from the same ancestor, but they're not the same. So we must grasp this. Me and a Puerto Rican descends from the same old slave mixing and mingling shit. But we are not the same people as of right now. If you do the blood test, I'll have more of this race in me than they do. And they'll have more of that race in them than me. So this is what makes us different. So we must understand, every continent had their own race of black people. Now the same is for white people. You had different races of white people. Not the same people. You get black and white in like the 17th century, 18th century. This is when you get the terms black and white. It's recent. Before then, people were not broken down into black and white. It was a bunch of white different people and a bunch of black different people. Black and white came into play because of the Americas in the slave trade. You had so many different groups of white people over here trying to take over shit. You had a bunch of black native groups that already were here. Then you had Africans brought here. So it was too much confusion. So you just placed all the white groups as white. So all the Caucasian groups is now labeled as white. And all the dark-skinned groups are now labeled as black. And this is how you get that. But before then, no one viewed anybody as a color. That's stupid. To call me black would be the stupidest shit you can do. I don't look black. I look gold. So why would you call me black and not gold? And this is how we lost in that. Because white people are white. They're colorless. Black people are many different colors. Some are coppered. Some are the color of gold. Some are black like onyx. Some are dark brown. So on and so forth. So you have a variety. But to label them all as black takes away from that. So now a beautiful gold complexion brother as myself is now labeled as black. We have to grasp. The Native Americans of the land were not Indians. Some of their hair was straightened because they used hot combs back in the days, dating way, way back. You have to understand, when you have a lot of hair and your hair is coarse, it is hard to keep up with it. You can't just put it in a ponytail. It's still bushy and it's still everywhere. So straightening it is just making it easier to keep. You can put a hat on and rock away and do what you do. You can't do that with a big ass afro. You can put the big ass afro in a ponytail, it's still a big ass fucking afro. The ponytail part is a big fuck. It's just hard to manage. So this is why the hair was straightened. All white people don't have straight hair. So hair has nothing to do with the race or the color. We think white, straight hair. Black, and it's not like that. You have black Indians, the red dots, with straight hair. You have dark-skinned Persians, straight hair. The straightness or the coarseness of your hair has nothing to do with the race. So we just must start grasping this and understand when we say we are the Africans in all of this, we are taking away from the greatness of the people of this land and how they held this shit down for millennia. For millennia, you didn't know what the fuck was going on in Americas because you were not allowed. And if you look at the similarities in the people of today and what you heard of the natives of this land, you'll see it's the same. In those times, nobody dealt with the natives. They were wild and crazy, labeled. If you look now, no race deals with the black people. We are labeled as wild and crazy. And that's how the people of the land preferred it. Deal with us if we choose to deal with you. Other than that, stay out of here. We play with